Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the 60th edition of War into Attitude. I, of course, am your host, Brent Piles, and with me, as always, is a man who is from across the ocean and from the future. He is the barroom brawling, disco dancing, dynamite stretching, intercontinental playboy. Folks, he's more over than hot chips are with Dan Griffin. At G. Russell and Glenn Abbott. Glenn, how are you doing this fine afternoon, evening, whatever time it is?
I tell you what, he's a brave man. It was wonderful to watch. You could see him filling up with heat, and then it come out of his ears.
Yeah, it was like a cartoon.
It was.
If you're not aware of what we're talking about, our Glenn here joined Dan, and a couple other people for the volley on SJP World Media this Sunday for Championship Sunday for the premium. The Premier League, not premium live event, for the English Premier League. And then once all the games are over, Dan ate a very, very spicy chip. A chip that it was recommended that you handle it with gloves.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Is that 200 Kelvin or something?
Yeah, it was like 4 or 5 times the amount of what a jalapeno pepper is.
Yeah.
I mean, a jalapeno peppers, like, to me, aren't really all that spicy, but...
And Dan being Dan, he just shoved it straight into his gob.
Yeah, he didn't even, like, take a little nibble first. He just went off. He just went straight in for it. And he's literally like, this is going to be bad. Yeah. I was... I believe Cy and Mags, I think is his name, were doing I think they do a review show on Monday evenings. And because I was sitting on my couch doing nothing, I got the notification on my phone. So I just popped in there and I was joking around with them in the chat. And I was saying to them that the only person I want to see do the hot chip challenge is Phil Foden.
Cool. Isn't he ugly enough?
And then Dan said, good, because then he'll have a reason to look like he's crying. And then Cy said that we're just jealous. And you know what, Cy? You're right. I am just jealous. You're absolutely right. I have no problem admitting that. My hatred for him is pure jealousy. Yes.
Yeah.
Not by anything that he has, monetarily or physically, just the fact that he's won, more Premier League championships than by the time he was 9. What is he, 11 years old, 12?
Must be something like that. Not
He's
that
won one every year since he was 6.
The man is so lucky as well. He's just wave his foot at the ball and it flies in the net.
Yeah, I mean, I won't. I'm not going to take it away from him. I know a lot of people are, the 115 charges, which is fair. I mean, to talk about, but at the same time, they are a really, really good football club, and they are managed by a really, really good manager. So I can't take that away from them.
No, you can't. I'm not one of these that actually believe that the team should be punished for what the money men do.
That's fair.
If it comes out in amongst all those 115 charges that they've overpaid for somebody, that then that's fair enough. But just to punish a whole team, Everton got out of relegation by the skin of their teeth.
Yeah,
after the league decided that they were going to knock 10 points off them for nothing.
Was it 10? I thought it was more than that. I thought it was 15.
Oh, it was 15 because it started with 10 and then they appealed it and it went up to 15.
See, that's the thing about your legal system. Even they don't do that over here. If you appeal something and it's wrong, it's just whatever. If you appeal something over there and it's wrong, they will give you more time.
Yep, they do.
So don't appeal shit because you will go to jail for longer.
Is that you or me weeping away there?
I don't hear anything.
I bet it's me.
I hear no beeping whatsoever.
That's all right. I haven't got my notifications turned off.
But so don't worry, pal. Even if it is beeping, I can't hear anything anyway. So, but yes,
it's just I don't like the pop up.
Oh, I can understand that. But yeah, We lost. We lost by 2 points. That's all I can say. We beat Everton. It was a fun season. I wish it wasn't over.
It was a fun season. I was thinking that earlier. I wish there was football tonight.
Yeah, there usually would be a game on. Yeah, right about now it'd be getting over probably.
Yeah, but we'll have the Euros on soon, and you'll be able to do your Euroast.
Oh boy, I can't wait for that. That's gonna be fun. They got a big soccer tournament over here too. The Copa America is coming up.
All right.
Which the United States is in, so that should be fun. Also, we got the Olympics coming up too, which I will partake in the soccer. I'm not really big into like a lot of Olympic things. I don't know about you, but I will watch soccer, basketball, stuff like that.
I'll watch most sports.
Yeah,
The fighting sports. I get into the boxing and the taekwondo, and that sort of stuff. I like all that.
Yeah, see, well, you would. You are armbar avid after all, so that would make a lot of sense. And also, I'm interested to see what's going to happen with the women's national team now that we've got Emma Hayes at the helm.
You got
should be interesting to see.
Yeah, you've got a really good manager there. God help the world.
I hope so, Glenn, because it's funny. We won 2 World Cups in a row, and then we don't win one, and people act like U.S. soccer is burning down. I'm like, they got it. It's a transitional time. You can't fucking win them all.
No, that's right.
And especially when you look at like soccer as a whole, especially women's soccer in the world is getting bigger, and so it's not going to be as easy. It's not when you go into these things, you're not going to be like there's only 2 or 3 teams that can win it. There will be 9, 10 teams that could win it.
Especially now with the Women's Champions League as well.
Yeah,
you got all those women throughout Europe all getting experience of major competition,
right?
They never had before.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. But that is enough about football for one podcast. I don't know when we'll talk about it again because, well, maybe when the Euros come back around. So in a month, we'll talk about more football-related topics. I'm sure next week I'll cry tears of sorrow that I couldn't watch Arsenal play. But we'll do that next week. But this week, Glenn, we're starting the month of December, Glenn. We've made it all the way to December in the month of 97. Can you believe it?
Yeah, and this is the 1st of December. Amazing.
This is, of course, a go-home show before a pay-per-view, Glenn. Will it break the curse of being all bad go-home shows of the year 1997? We will find out. We are in Roanoke, Virginia this week at the Roanoke Civic Center, which opened in 1971. It was the former home of the ABAs, the American Basketball Association's Virginia Squires, and has hosted over 251 pro wrestling events over the years, including Night 16 of the 1989 Great American Bash Tour. They really love to have stack on top of night, like the Night 40 of the Great American Bash Tour. Ric Flair's got so many scars his head. He's bled all over this nation.
I'm not surprised there was so much wrestling going on there, though, because it says that it was 6,542, which is a sellout for that venue. So you get over 6,000 people in there, you're going to book it a bit. It's a good draw.
Well, and Roanoke, Virginia is a good, I'm sure it was a good spot for, the NWA and such back in the day as well. It's Jim Crockett Promotions and such. They had Fall Brawl 94 here, many Raws and SmackDowns. The last one took place in November of 2014. And if you live near Roanoke, head on down to the arena, Glenn, and you can see the Twin Valley Roller Derby girls take on Louisville on June 1st. Or, Glenn, this one is huge. I don't know if even you're ready for this. You can see the Beach Boys Endless Summer Gold Tour with John Stamos. You can go see the Beach Boys sing with Uncle fucking Jesse at this arena on June 16th. Who doesn't want to do that?
Me.
Oh, come on, Glenn. You don't want to see Uncle Jesse sing Kokomo?
The only guy in the Beach Boys that sounds like an original Beach Boy now is the English guy.
Oh, is there an English guy?
Yeah. They did a I can't remember what they were called, but they did a tribute to the Beach Boys. And when the Beach Boys started thinning and getting sounded a bit ropey,
Well,
they
yeah,
roped him in.
they're not getting any younger.
No, they roped him in to give them back their sound.
Well, the most I know about the Beach Boys is about crazy ass Dennis Wilson. I know a lot about Charles Manson. I know there's a connection between Dennis Wilson and Charles Manson.
Is there?
And yeah, you didn't know about this? Like,
I didn't know that.
Oh God, Glenn, you got to look into this. So Dennis Wilson, who was in the Beach Boys, was actually had the Manson cult like living in his house for a while.
Nice.
Yeah, and he actually took Charlie Manson to the house to meet some people. And then the people that they met there actually moved out. Other people moved in, and then Charlie sent his goons there to kill all these people in the house, and it wasn't even the people that he met. And Dennis Wilson had taken him to that house. It's crazy. Look into that. It's a crazy story.
I'll have to.
There's a podcast about it called Disgraceland.
Mm-hmm.
And that Dennis Wilson episode is fucking crazy.
Yeah,
he did a lot of drugs.
Mm-hmm.
As I'm sure they all did. After all, they're the Beach Boys.
Well, the last time I saw them live-ish, they were on the TV. They had have you ever seen A Weekend at Bernie's?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Well, Brian, they sat him at a piano, and I'm sure somebody was working him like they did with Bernie.
Probably. If what I've heard about Dennis Wilson is true, then yes, that's probably exactly what it was like. He's probably very stoned. And not the good kind. So the show starts with a video package recapping LOD losing the tag team titles to the New Age Outlaws last week. They also tell us, Glenn, that we're going to see never before seen footage from the Survivor Series match between Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels that were in the controversy. Spoiler alert, it didn't end any sort of controversy at all.
I was about to say, spoiler alert, it's like they don't do bait and switches.
Yeah, and so there's I really don't even want to talk about that because it's just stupid, and all they didn't show anything that we hadn't seen a million times. No. You know what I mean? Even in 1997, I don't think that showed anything that they hadn't been shown yet.
No, I don't either.
Yeah, no. So we start out the evening with the New Age Outlaws coming down to the ring. They let us know that they're going to dedicate their match later to the death of the Legion of Doom. Then they say they will not be here because they're licking their wounds at home. I thought they were dead, but apparently they're not.
And they're donating one of their shoulder pads to the Smithsonian.
Yes, they're Yeah, they're dedicating their shoulder pads to this Smithsonian because they are definitely now wrestling history. They then get jumped from behind by LOD, but not really because they hightail it out of the ring as soon as LOD hits it.
That I didn't even recognize him.
Yeah, without the makeup and shit. Yeah,
I didn't even realize that was LOD to start with. I thought it was a couple of the DOA lads that jumped in there on them.
Well, thank God it wasn't. Yeah, it was those guys. And so LOD chases them out of the ring. They run to the back. LOD gets on the mic, says, "You can't beat us in a fair and square match," and that they better hope they get out of the building tonight because they're gonna take them out or whatever. Even though they do have a tag team match with them at the pay-per-view coming up. So then Sunny makes her way down to the ring. She's going to be the special guest ring announcer for the semifinal match, the first semifinal match in the light heavyweight tournament. It is Aguilar taking on Taka Michinoku. If I'm not mistaken, I believe these two also have a match at WrestleMania 14 for the light heavyweight championship. If I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about this match?
The match was good. It was a decent light heavyweight sort of lucha libre style bouncing around match.
I thought it kind of had a little bit of everything because they did a lot of high flying stuff, but there was not a lot, but there was mat wrestling in there.
I love the start of this where Jim Ross is saying, You're not going to see much mat wrestling here. And the first thing is that they're on the floor in headlocks.
Yeah, they immediately go into mat wrestling as soon as you said that. But yeah, I thought like up until this point, this might be the best light heavyweight match we've seen on WWE TV because it was really good, and they gave him a little bit of time. The only thing I thought this match was missing was it had absolutely no crowd reaction until like the very end when Taka hit the Michinoku driver. But like on UTT, they do a thing where they rate like what do you rate the highest in your wrestling experience? And mine, like, I know that fans can add something to a match, but like I've heard Dan say this, and I agree with him saying this. If I like the match and nobody's cheering, I don't really give a shit if nobody's cheering. I think the match is good. You know what I mean? I don't know. I think you feel the same way, probably.
I do. I absolutely love the intricacies of watching people perform when there was no crowds and listening to the calls and everything. That fascinated me.
Yeah, I mean, I know a lot of people hated it not having fans. I mean, obviously, I'd rather have fans, but at the same time, I didn't find it as terrible as everybody else thought it did. Especially when they moved it to the Thunderdome. I thought that was a really cool, neat way to do it. I didn't have. I know some people were like, I cannot watch it without the crowd noise, but I don't know. I thought it was fine.
The thing is that we know from the European and Costa Rica and places like that a crowd can make an event.
Yeah.
But it shouldn't take it away from it as much as people want it to. If you don't get the reaction that you expect.
Right. Yeah, no, I absolutely agree with that. So Taka Michinoku beats Aguilar. He is heading to the finals. We then get a little hype video for your house, Egypt. You got something to say? Good.
Yeah. As you scooted over the bit where Aguilar nearly dies.
No, there was a part where I must have forgot.
He dived over the top rope, missed Taka Michinoku completely, but managed to land on his feet just before he smashed into the barrier.
Oh, that was like toward the beginning of the match, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I remember this now. Yeah. I know what you're talking about. Yeah, he's lucky he did land on his feet, or else he would have been probably in the hospital.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, but then we got a little video hyping In Your House DX.
Are you ready?
The showstopper.
Sexy.
The main event.
HBK.
The icon, Shawn Michaels, battles Ken Shamrock for the World Wrestling Federation Championship.
Bow to the man.
Triple H.
Triple H.
Hunter Hearst Helmsley battles Sergeant Slaughter. Degeneration X. Live this Sunday on pay-per-view.
Then comes the weirdest part of the show.
Can we just skip this?
No, probably not.
It actually made me feel queasy.
I could understand why it made you feel a little queasy. It was a little difficult to watch. Don't worry, Glenn. I didn't make any clips of this, so you won't have to watch it again. Goldust makes his way down here with Luna. He's got like a green getup, but it's like black on the nipple part, and then like a weird, I think it was like a hot pink thong, maybe, and like his hair was pink.
Yeah, like Madonna cones.
Yes, they were. Yeah, sort of like the headbangers used to wrestle in, but not as crazy.
And a ball gag.
And yes, and he was gagged, and she had him on a leash as well. So
yeah, just about every way around. And the state of his feet. Oh,
yeah,
it was just totally revolting. The whole bloody thing, sticking his head up Luna's skirt, and
yeah, I don't really know how to put into words what I watch here. Luna gets on the mic. She says Goldust has finally been set free after being held prisoner by his overbearing father and his demanding ex-wife, and she declares he is now the artist formerly known as Goldust. Star of this was Jarrett, was Jim Cornette, as he says such things as Jerry Lawler should have done this interview in a full body condom, and then he said that interview should have been illegal in 37 states.
He was right.
He wasn't wrong. I venture to think some weird stuff like that's gone on at Jim Cornette's house, so he should probably sit down and shut up.
Yeah. Anyway, so back to something a lot more wholesome. The Karate Fighters Holiday Tournament.
Finally, Glenn, I was begging for it, and it's finally here. Let's watch, Glenn. Let's see what happens in the Karate Fighters Holiday Tournament. Let's see.
Oh, yes.
In any language, in any country, electronic karate fighters with morphing action, the worldwide leader in hand-to-hand combat games.
This week, the comeback of El Matador continues as he battles Jerry the King Lawler in semi-final action.
And now, the 1997 Karate Fighters Holiday Tournament. Welcome, everyone, to Karate Fighters is War. What do you think, Jumbo Jim?
Vance, it's gonna be a slobber knocker. Oh, let's get right to the action.
Santana, what a funny looking outfit.
What about yours, Burger King?
Taco Bell.
Wait, hey, 1, 2, 3, he got it! Serpent strike, win! Serpent strike, win!
Oh, have another burrito, pal. Let's go with the instant refund.
What a devastating shot to the midsection! The comeback is over for El Matador. It's the king! Nice and sunny for the Karate Fighters Championship!
Oh boy, next week it's Sleazy versus Sleazy as Jerry the King Lawler battles Sonny.
You can guess who wins that, can't you?
I hope whatever they did, I hope they washed off the knobs of those things when they were finished. There was another thing too. When Sonny came down to the ring, she kissed a kid on the cheek, and I said, God, I hope she brushed her teeth.
Yeah.
Anyway, next thing is a 4 corners elimination match. Chains versus D'Lo versus Miguel Perez versus Recon. Each man will have 2 guys will stand outside of the ring while 2 guys wrestle in the ring. You can tag anyone at any time, but you have to accept the tag or you will be DQ'd. This is a clusterfuck.
Certainly was.
It's the definition of it.
It was just an excuse to get all the factions on TV for a couple of minutes.
Yeah, and at first I thought it was going to be a tag team match, but then I realized it was all one-on-one. I thought Recon, who is, the future Bull Buchanan, looked really good in this match. And I also thought D'Lo Brown looked really good in this match, but that would make sense because they both have I'm not going to say they were like big stars, but they both had pretty good runs in the WWE, so they obviously brought something to the table. I did see a sign in the crowd that said Nation of Constipation, which was the best part of this match.
Yeah.
What about you, Glenn? Do you see anything better than that in this match than the Nation of Constipation?
No. Basically, my notes on this: D'Lo trades leapfrogs with Recon. You may know better as the father of Briggs or Jensen, or whichever one it is.
I think it's Jensen.
I don't know. I just knew it was one of them. Then Chains very quickly pins Recon. So there's a way to go with the new faction, making them look weak at the beginning.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't love that they took the 2 guys who had the most potential and had them out first. I was like, why would you do that?
Yeah.
Like, it did nothing to make us think that the Truth Commission is going to be anything, because I think they've won like 1 match.
Yeah. It was just nothing. There was nothing in particular. And then Miguel rolls up D'Lo. So there goes the one decent wrestler in this match.
Yeah.
And when they realise that everybody just dives into the ring and starts brawling.
Yeah, of course. That's how it's going to end, because that's how all the factions thing end. It just ends in a big brawl. The Jackal is on comment. He gets on commentary with them while this big brawl is happening, and he didn't say a whole lot except for he wasn't interested in fighting. After the commercial break, we get DX out here. Shawn Michaels is in a wheelchair for some reason. They don't come all the way to the ring. They just stop at the top of the ramp. They trash Bret Hart and Jim Neidhart, saying that DX played everyone for a sucker. They also have suckers in their mouths at this time. I guess it's supposed to be like a thing.
That's it. Yeah, lollipops in their mouths. So there's the reason for the wheelchair.
Yeah, you ready to see the reason for the wheelchair, Glenn?
Yeah, I'll see. Well, go on then.
Let's see it.
I want to let you know I'm not injured, but thanks to China and the rigorous workout she's been putting me through to get ready for Degeneration X pay-per-view, she has been putting the Heartbreak Kid through some hard times in the Jen Shamrock. You live and die by the ankle submission hold. So what I have done with the help of China and Triple H, I have been in that gym training these legs, and my pain tolerance is at an all-time high. And just to give you a sample of the pain tolerance that the Heartbreak Kid now has, Hunter, I want you to show the people the pain tolerance that the Heartbreak Kid has.
Here we go. He's going to end up getting his ankle broken before the match.
I'm good. Keep going. I'm in the zone, brother. I'm in the zone. I can't feel nothing. I'm in the zone, brother. I got to go. Here we go.
Well, Shamrock's not going to mess around.
Okay, now I really mean it now. I really want you, seriously now, I really want you to turn it. Really. I mean, really crank on it, Hunter. Come on.
Going.
Come on.
Oh.
I don't know that I can take too much more. I don't know that I'm just about reaching my pain threshold.
Apparently, at WrestleMania 13, Brett was supposed to be in a match with Shawn and actually break Shawn's ankle with a leg lock to win the WWF title using a gimmicked boot.
Oh.
So I think this is just another jibe at Bret Hart.
Interesting. I did not know that. It's a very interesting little tidbit, but I mean, it makes sense because why else would they do that shit other than he's facing a guy who does an ankle lock, and I guess you can twist my ankle. I don't know. And that seems like some inside baseball shit that they would do to get a laugh for themselves.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
All that about how China's been working him up. I thought she was doing that with Triple H.
Well, that's a different kind of working out.
Yeah, I suppose.
I think. Yeah, I mean, Triple H talked about he's got a match with Jim Neidhart tonight. He says they're going to finish what they started. He says, in his match with Sergeant Slaughter, he's going to use all the weapons except for the big bazooka because he's going to save that for his old lady. Yeah. And that was pretty much it. Yeah, I mean, they want to talk more about the stupid footage from Survivor Series, but I don't want to. Yes, Glenn, we can skip that, but we can't skip the weird gold dust stuff. Sorry.
That's all right.
I just think the Montreal Screwjob has been covered to death, and I don't need
we don't need to see that again.
Yeah. They show a video package of what's happened between The Rock and Steve Austin in the Intercontinental title. Then the second hour starts. The War Zone, and the first matchup is The Rock taking on Vader. The rest of the nation's out there with him. My favorite part of this is The Rock gets on the mic and announces that this is a non-title match, not for the Intercontinental Championship, even though he's not really the Intercontinental Champion. And that's the funny part about it.
I don't know what's happened with this. the sound all through the first hour was all over the place. And then you get the start of the second hour. The first thing that happens is bloody Austin comes out. There's some weird music.
Yeah, I assume whatever he was playing, they weren't able to use, so they dubbed it over with something else. That's what I'm assuming.
Yeah. But then they decided that they were going to play it through the whole of that match.
It was really weird.
It was really, really weird.
Yeah, I have that in my notes too. Yeah.
And then, if it don't get weirder, we get Goldust out there.
Well, it was Vader, so I expected him to. I kind of expected him to show up. The good news is Vader doesn't have a hole in his head because he got hit with a hammer. And if you'll remember last week, first he had rubbing alcohol thrown in one eye, and then they threw hot coffee in his good eye. So it's amazing that Vader can think and or see at this point. So we should just be happy he's out here.
And to be fair, they weren't having a bad match.
No, it was a good match. Absolutely. It was just weird because of the sound.
Yeah. And the fact that Goldust had to inject himself into it. Or the artist formerly known as.
Yeah, the artist formerly known as Goldust. Yeah, Austin's watching from his truck. He kind of like pulls it up into the crowd a little bit. He's drinking a beer. Yeah, it was a fine match. It was just, there was no emphasis on it, and you really couldn't hear anything because it was just like this weird music the whole time. And they kept trying to make it like turn down when it was toward the ring, and then turn it back up when you were near Austin's truck. But it was like by the ring, you wouldn't hear it anymore. His truck speakers can't be that loud. It's not possible. Over the crowd sound and the sound the ring makes when somebody hits the mat, you just wouldn't be able to hear it in the ring. So it made it all just seem, I don't know, it was fucking weird. The only way I can describe it. Eventually, Goldust shows up. He starts beating up Vader on the outside. The Rock hits a suplex, followed by People's Elbow. Vader kicks out, but then Vader just leaves the ring and chases Goldust. So the Rock wins by countout, and then we have a stare down between Austin and the Rock. Well, the Rock in the ring and Austin standing on the show.
Yeah. Just building the Rock up nicely now.
Yeah.
Just to use a colloquialism, we are just starting to smell what the Rock is cooking.
Just about. Yeah, we're just about to start. Yeah. I liked at the end, he was like, was walking up the ramp, but he stopped and turned back and looked at Austin, and he kind of did the eyebrow thing. And just the way he looked at him, I thought was pretty cool. They show like a video, it was like special look of Ken Shamrock, but I'm pretty sure this is the same video that we saw a couple of weeks ago. So
and we know he's very dangerous.
Well, he's the world's most dangerous man. You tell us every time he's out here. So how would we not know that he's dangerous? Speaking of dangerous, it's the second semifinal match in the light heavyweight championship tournament. It's Scott Taylor taking on Brian Christopher, or is it? Because Kane's here.
Yeah. Again. Everything done in red, so you can't actually see anything.
Yeah, they haven't learned to stop to cut the red out when he gets into the ring yet.
No.
And I don't believe he has another match until he has a match with Vader. He has a match with Vader at the February pay-per-view in '98, I want to say. Because Vader does a very weird promo afterward, which we'll talk about it when we cover it. Yeah, he comes out here. My favorite part of this is the King keeps asking, do you think he did anything to Brian? You think Brian's okay? How about Brian? Brian, all right, you think? I remember that was the funniest part. Scott Taylor tries to throw some drop kicks. He even comes off from the top rope, but he ends up eating a choke slam and a tombstone. Then Paul Bearer gets on the mic. He says he hopes the Undertaker is happy. This is all his fault, and it will continue until he does what he has to do. He tells the Undertaker, your life is already a living hell. And then I expect him to elaborate further, but he didn't. And Kane blew the pyro, and that was the end. And so I don't know what's going to happen because I know they're supposed to have the light heavyweight championship match at the pay-per-view. So I don't know if Scott Taylor's if Brian Christopher's just going to advance through to the final. I'm assuming that's probably what's going to happen.
But that way he doesn't. So Kane just destroys him there, and that's when they decide that him and Scott Taylor better tag up.
Should be too cool. Yeah.
Mhm.
We didn't get to see two future tag team partners battle it out, Glenn. It's all that Dan Kane's fault. Well, technically, it's the Undertaker's fault. We got to blame the Undertaker on this one.
Yes.
Sorry.
Yeah. Definitely. He's cool.
And then Ahmed Johnson makes his way out to the ring, and they inform us that since Ahmed Johnson is in fact the unluckiest son of a bitch in the entire planet, he also got into a car accident.
Yes, I know. And that was the most interesting bit of this segment.
Well, except for the end when Sergeant Slaughter came out. It was the only time it was good to see Sergeant Slaughter. He's supposed to be taking on Jeff Jarrett, but we're going to hear from Jeff Jarrett as to why he doesn't think that he should have to wrestle Ahmed Johnson.
Wait a minute. Jeff Jarrett's wrestling debut will not take place tonight.
What?
Ahmed, I'm not talking to you. Jim Ross, I'm talking to you.
You, JR?
How many times is the WWF going to drop the ball? If you guys don't know how to promote a star of my ability, someone with the quality that I have, the amount of talent that I have, so no, I'm not getting up there wrestling tonight.
I think Jarrett's yellow.
And you can tell McMahon that.
I guess you won. Chicken.
Whoa. Well, that's one way of putting it. And there's the commissioner, Commissioner Slaughter. What's he going to do now?
Jeff Jarrett, I've been listening to what you've had to say. Exactly. And I have reviewed your contract, and you are right. You do not have to wrestle. Exactly right. However, I'm going to change that this Sunday because you will wrestle this Sunday at Degeneration X. I have found that top-notch opponent. I have found that star quality opponent you want.
Good.
And you will wrestle this Sunday, or I will suspend you indefinitely from the World Wrestling Federation. Just give me the opportunity. By the way,
big star.
I guess I should prepare you for who you have to wrestle this Sunday so you can get ready for that star quality, top-notch opponent you want. So this Sunday, Jeff Jarrett, your opponent will be The Undertaker!
Oh, my! Jarrett and The Undertaker this Sunday!
Player.
It's that old scenario of be careful what you ask for because you just might get it, and he got it. So after that, they showed a very strange Sergeant Slaughter video trying to make us excited for his match at the pay-per-view. Glenn, 1 out of 5. How excited are you for the boot camp match?
-1.
I'm right there with you, pal. I think that's fair. The next matchup, it's the Headbangers taking on the New Age Outlaws. We've got current tag team champions taking on former tag team champions. I'd forgotten all about NOD. The New Age Outlaws, not the Nation of Domination. The New Age Outlaws were the first ones to hit use the Headbangers boombox as a weapon. So if I was the Headbangers, I'd stop bringing that shit out there because it doesn't work out for you very well.
No. And it breaks very easily.
Yeah, that boombox is not sturdy. Yeah, this was an okay tag team match, I suppose, but it didn't go on for very long.
No, it's that thing. It's like I was saying last week, when you see the New Age Outlaws, that they are following the sort of script for tag teams. Like you got the Road Dogg gets beaten up a lot, then Billy comes in, makes a save, and
right.
It's all very much like the tag teams of old and of new.
Yeah, definitely. And the Headbangers are always a good tag team watch. They always do good tag team maneuvers and shit like that.
Well, we've said before, we thought they were hard done by at a time when they could have pushed them easily as a top tag team when they didn't have hardly any.
Yeah, and I think the headbangers are really innovative. I think if you go back and look at the time, I don't think a lot of tag teams were doing that, especially certainly not in the World Wrestling Federation at that point. So I think the headbangers are maybe an underrated, in my opinion, underrated tag team, just because I think people more look at like the weird shit that they did and not their in-ring stuff, but they could actually go when they got in the ring.
Oh, definitely.
Finally, of course, Animal and Hawk hit the ring, but you know,
Yeah, they've gone and got into their wrestling gear. I don't understand that.
they showed them earlier in the locker room putting their wrestling gear on too, and I'm like, well, okay, like, well, we got to beat people up. We better put our wrestling gear on. If they get into a bar fight, they go outside put their wrestling gear on. I don't understand.
Yeah, put all their makeup on and.
Hold on. If I know how to fight those two giant monsters, I gotta wait for them to put their makeup on. I'm leaving. Fuck that.
Which is basically what the New Age Outlaws do.
Yep.
Every time they turn up.
Yeah, they broke the fuck out. They ran straight to their car and headed right out of the arena and drove right out of there. A little pushing and shoving between the headbangers and the LOD, but the New Age Outlaws will not be able to run on Sunday when they have to face the LOD at the pay-per-view for the Tag Team Championship. So it'd be very interesting to see what happens in that match. And then they show us what happened to Jim Neidhart, and then we get 8 minutes of my life that I'll never get back.
Oh. This was as cringeworthy as the artist formerly known as Luna.
It wasn't good, yeah, and I don't know. And they were like, oh, up next, Jim Cornette's going to verbally assault Mark Marrow, which he really didn't. He didn't verbally assault really anyone. They let us know that Sable's going to be a ring girl in the upcoming Oscar De La Hoya fight, which Mark Marrow is not very happy about. Jim talks to Mark about how his career really hasn't gone anywhere. Then he basically goes off on Sable, says she's worthless, you know. She's modeling other guys' t-shirts, and Stone Cold Steve Austin owes me money. He said he's sick of looking at her, and he kicks her out of the ring. Yeah. I just wanted it to end.
Yeah.
I was just hoping it would be over.
And Sable as an actress is no Miss Elizabeth.
No, definitely, certainly not. I mean, she's good at playing like a mean person. She's really good at playing a mean person. She's not so good at crying. Yeah,
dominatrix, but not a.
yeah, exactly.
Not a victim.
Exactly. So then we get the main event. It is Triple H versus Jim Neidhart. I mean, this match was also a fine match. I didn't have any big qualms with it. I mean, there was obviously a lot of outside interference, as there would be when you've got DX involved in a match. You got any notes on this one?
There was a lot of hair grabbing and tossing by Jim Neidhart.
Yeah, Jim Neidhart threw Triple H around the ring by his fucking hair every chance he got.
Yeah. You think the Trips would have put it back into a ponytail, wouldn't you? At least to get it out of the way.
Or something. Fucking shave. That's probably why he shaved it all off. He got tired of Stephanie pulling it.
Yeah.
Eventually, Hunter gets a chair in there and he hits Jim in the back with it when the referee is distracted by China. He gets the 3 count and the win. After the match, they're beating up Neidhart. They pedigree him on a chair. They spray paint WCW on his back. But Jim Neidhart popped up pretty fucking quick from taking a pedigree on a chair because he was up a couple like
seconds later. Yeah, he didn't really sell that a lot, did he?
No, he's like the Undertaker. He tries to fight back, but then China joins in. They handcuff him to the top rope. Sergeant Slaughter hits the ring to try to help. They start beating him up. And then I don't know what Ken Shamrock was doing. I don't know what took him so long. Maybe he just came from the airport. I'm not sure. But Ken Shamrock finally shows up to save the day. Belly to belly, Shawn Michaels puts him in the ankle lock. Did you notice that the entire time he's got Shawn on an ankle lock, Shawn is writhing in pain, screaming, tapping, and he's still got that fucking sucker in his mouth.
Yep.
And that's how it goes off the air. So what did you think, Glenn? Did this break the curse of terrible shows before a pay-per-view, or was it terrible?
The matches weren't as bad as some.
I'm gonna lean toward that it's not terrible. It's not good by any means, but
No,
it wasn't terrible.
No, it's definitely not terrible. We've had a lot worse than that. If you remember, was it just before SummerSlam where they didn't have one match, or there was only one match on the whole 2 hours?
Yeah, it was like 3 minutes or something. Yeah.
So at least got some progression of stories and everything here. They're trying to talk people into the building for Degeneration X, the
Yeah,
pay-per-view.
and when I look at the card too, everybody that was involved on Monday Night Raw in either a feud or a match, or was supposed to be, I guess there's one person, is on this card. So they did a good job of trying to tell stories that were going to go into the pay-per-view, which they haven't done on a Raw going into a pay-per-view at all this entire year. So
that's right.
So yeah, I'm gonna give it just one thumb up. Just
one thumb up because they tried.
Yeah, they did an okay job. Next week we will be reviewing In Your House Degeneration X. Glenn, do you want to hear some of the matches that we're going to be looking at?
Go on, then.
Taka Michinoku will face Brian Christopher for the inaugural light heavyweight champion. There will be a six-man match with the Los Barriquas and the Disciple of Apocalypse. Whoop-de shit. A tough man match between Butterbean and Mark Merrow. The New Age Outlaws versus LOD, of course. Triple H, Sergeant Slaughter, which we talked about. Stone Cold Steve Austin will take on The Rock. I think this is one of their very first match of many matches they will have with each other over the years. And, of course, the main event of Ken Shamrock versus Shawn Michaels. So it's a pretty good card. I think that should be a good show. Should be a decent show.
Hope so.
Except for that Sergeant Slaughter match. I imagine that's awful. And it got 17 minutes. Let's look at the TV ratings for this week, Glenn. What do you think? Nitro this week got a 3.83, which is down a little bit from the 3.92 it got last week. Raw, again, above a 3, though, at 3.10, which is down a little bit from the 3.05 they got last week. So they're getting up there, Glenn. They're sneaking up on them. They're nipping at their heels, if you will. Do you want to hear the matches that we missed because we watched Raw on 7 nights?
Yeah, let's have a listen to what's on Nitro, please.
This one was probably fun. Rey Mysterio defeated Juventud Guerrera. Hugh Morris was not funny when he defeated Raph. Prince Iakea defeated Eugene Nagata. Scott Hall defeated Disco Inferno. Chris Benoit defeated Kidman. And of course, because I believe he is in the main event of every fucking Nitro, Kurt Hennig was defeated by Diamond Dallas Page in a match for the United States Championship by disqualification.
Oh, great.
Let's go back to last week real quick and let's see. Kurt Hennig defeated by Ray Traylor by disqualification. Let's go back to the week after that. Kurt Hennig defeated by Lex Luger by, you guessed it, disqualification. Let's go back to the week before that. Let's see.
They're really
Kurt Hennig defeated by Diamond Dallas Page by
disqualification. They're really trying to protect him, aren't they?
God damn it.
Let the poor bugger win one.
He beat somebody. He defeated. This is the streak. This wasn't it. The week before that, he defeated Lex Luger by disqualification to retain the championships. Holy shit. That's crazy talk. That's crazy talk. Well, that's it for Monday Night Kurt Hennig. Glenn, we need to plug before we get out of here.
I'm booking the territory of doing the first and last of wrestling and their side projects on Stacking the Dadatory, looking at the road to Wembley 1981, Big Daddy versus Giant Haystacks, which was watched by 18 million viewers, the most that ever watched a wrestling match. They're doing being the elite. They just got to the finals of their second series of that. And I'm stacking the data. I've said that.
That's okay.
Oh, Do the
The Doctor Who podcast with Danny Inside. That is on SJP World Media. Check that out. Give them a follow on YouTube. Those are good guys over there. They are fun to listen to. So check them out.
DDT Wrestling with DC and Doc. And don't forget to check out on YouTube The Volley this week, where we covered the final weekend of the Premier League season.
Unfortunately, you can't watch it though because for some reason they copyright struck it, and now it's down. You can't watch it anymore.
Oh right, okay. I'll take that back then.
I tried to get on there and look at it earlier because I wanted to watch Dan suffer some more because it's really funny. It's funny to watch your friends suffer.
I wonder why they've copyrighted it.
Yeah, I didn't understand because I guess I didn't watch I watched the beginning and then I watched after the matches were over. And I didn't recall you guys doing anything or playing anything that would copyright. So I don't know why they took it down, but it is down now, unfortunately. But I think they said they were going to do a season recap. And I also believe they're going to be doing some stuff during the Euros too. So check out the Volley anyway. Those guys are fun.
Oh, yeah, I've been invited on for during the Euros.
I will be checking that out. I'll have to pause the TV to catch up with you guys. But yeah, check out all those fine people that Glenn mentioned. And of course, check out the other member of our podcast team, the Mayor of Canton. Follow him on the Twitter machine. Yeah, he is at Mayor of Canton. He does a meal with the Mayor every Wednesday. He missed last week because he wasn't feeling well, but I'm sure he'll be back this week. So check that out. Check him out. Check him and that out. Check it all out. And also check out Sports Wire Radio. Give our buddy Thomas Bryce a follow on all social media platforms. It is Thomas. You know how to spell Thomas Bryce. BRICE. And check out the website. It is sportswireradio.org. Hit that listen live button. You can listen to plenty of podcasts, including us.
That's Sports with a Z.
Sports with a Z. And, of course, check out the other projects we got going on. We got the Life and Times of Psycho Sid. You got 2 episodes last week that are out currently. We'll have 1 new episode this week. I believe we are walking in Memphis this week. We are going to watch some Memphis wrestling. That'll be out on Sunday. And right now you can listen to, we did part 1 of the 1996 Lethal Lottery. It's the last Battle Bowl in the history of WCW, Glenn.
Is it?
Yeah, it's a terrible pay-per-view, but it's wonderful for our purposes. So check all that out. And I don't have anything else to say. I'm done.
I'm not surprised they ditched it after this one, though, because it's looking so contrived and planned.
Well, and it always kind of has. I mean, as long as this podcast goes and we do AW iPod Worldwide at least once a year, I'm going to try to work a Battle Bowl in when I can. I think they did like 4 or 5 of them, so we'll be able to keep that going for 4 or 5 years. Because yes, while it sounds like a fun concept, it's not. It's not fun. It's terrible.
No. Okay, then.
But that is it. That's all. Now it's just time for Glenn to say goodbye.
Goodbye.